Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February the 24th.
I'm Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia.
I'm Josias in sunny Napa, California.
And I'm Robert Taylor in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hey, everyone. I'm Duke Carrico, and I'm sick of snow. Hey, what we expect from Mobile World Congress? Phones, tablets, watches, we'll cover that tonight. Hey, there's a Chromebook Pixel 2 coming. Does anyone care? And we're going to get into Superfish and what this means and what it's going to mean for Lenovo and Motorola. Hey, good evening, guys.
Evening.
Hello.
How's everybody?
I don't want to rub it in, but it was 72 degrees here and sunny. Have a nice day.
Man, I'll tell you what, Jeff, I walked out the door this morning. You know, first of all, the ground's been white for a week here. Freezing temperatures. Mom had a water line bust. And, yeah, I went out the door this morning, and I was like, not again. I mean, everything was covered. We got about 4 or 5 more inches today. And, yeah, man, and they're calling for more tomorrow night. And, Bruce, I'd say that you're experiencing similar, are you not?
Absolutely, yeah. We thought this thing, this snowstorm that you're talking about that's to come this week was going to just clip us, but now it looks like it's going to drop down a little further south on us. So we're looking at another maybe 3 to 5 inches or so. So, yeah, it's you know, the kids are missing some school. It's probably getting close to jeopardizing their spring break as they have to use up their snow days and everything. But yeah, it's been challenging.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, hey guys. Listen, man, Sunday night is going to happen March the 2nd for anyone who doesn't know. Mobile World Congress, the biggest mobile show each year, takes place in Barcelona, Spain. And let's talk a little bit about what we expect, man. First of all, Samsung, usually just ahead of Mobile World Congress, they announce their new flagship phones. This year's going to be no different, and it sounds like we're going to get the S6 in 2 versions. One will be a 5.1-inch screen, and the other one's going to be a 5.1-inch screen with those little side windows on it. Instead of one like the Note had, we're going to have 2, one on each side. It's going to be a metal chassis, and Bruce, I know you're a fan of that with your current Samsung device. One, I'm going to call this a rumor, but we're pretty sure this is certain. We're not going to see a Qualcomm processor. Evidently, Samsung was having problems with those. So I guess to kick it off, who's excited about the prospects of this device now that we see a few leaks coming on?
Meh.
I hear crickets. I hear crickets. Listen, man, the S5 sucked. I mean, sales of it did anyway. Is this? Do you think Samsung's going to get this one right and turn it around?
I don't know that Samsung really has gotten this under control yet. And I go back to the curved edge screens, okay? The exact same phone with the curved edge. Have we heard that much about it in the Note? Why would we expect that it's going to do anything on the S6? I don't understand this, you know. Are we coming out with a phone just to come out with a phone because they're having MWC? It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not sure. I think that, you know, these events are starting to get to be, rather than being really big events where new products are released and people get excited about it, everything seems so staggered because everybody wants to have their own event, it almost seems. And so I don't think there's as much excitement about it. We're not seeing revolutionary stuff for the last 2 years. Pretty tough to get excited when nothing is really wowing anybody.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I got to tell you, you know, and we're all geeks here, and we would look forward to something like Mobile World Congress, but there's nothing really that I see that really floats my boat here. And as far as Samsung is concerned, you know, they had a really great phone. In fact, it's still a really good selling phone, still a very popular phone. I'm talking about the Galaxy S3. And so my wife's got the S4 and S5. Like I agree with you, Duke. I don't think it was the winner. They begin to lose market share. They're losing money really rapidly. And now they've got this S6, and they're coming out with they floated the edge thing on one side. Now they're going to do a two-edge thing. Granted, having an all-metal case, may be nice. I've got the all-metal case. Of course, this article that you posted there talks about the Galaxy Alpha, and this, I think, one of the reasons why they call it the Galaxy Alpha is it really was kind of a beta. It was Galaxy floating out. What would a really nice all-metal thing work? Now it does have the plastic back because you still have a replaceable battery, which I really like. So, but it's kind of a ho-hum season for Mobile World Congress for me right now.
Yeah, that plus, all the manufacturers tend to leak them out anyways, information, before the event. So there's no big. The event is probably more like, okay, well, this is what we expected. This is what was delivered. Everything's kind of leaked out before it even gets there. So, and then everyone just comes back and says, oh, this is what we thought it would be. This is going to be the new HTC. This is the new everything, right?
Yeah, nobody's discussing, oh, this is the new product. They're going off the checklist. Yeah, we got this right. Yeah, we got this right. Nope, we missed that. That's kind of a disappointment. Makes it kind of.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, what's the Sense experience on your Alpha?
I think it's pretty good. And I do use the Nova launcher that many of you guys use. I like that a lot. So that's my launcher of choice. But when they knocked it out of the park with the S3, and then everybody was all excited about the S4, and then not so much. Then the S5, and so I think people are really jaded about this. This is really going to have some incredible hardware to really get people back on the Samsung bandwagon. And yet I have to tell you. I like this phone, and this phone doesn't even have the greatest hardware specs as far as resolution on the screen, but you know what? It works so good for me. It's nice and thin, and it does well. I haven't had any troubles with it, and of course I got it for a song, considering the insurance replaced my broken Note 2 with this Galaxy Alpha. So.
And don't you think it's about, it's like it seems to be every 4 to 5 years there's a breakthrough in phones or a breakthrough that comes through. It's not like every year, right? It can't be. I mean, they can't just knock it out of the park every year, right? So,
well,
I think it just takes time.
Really, we're seeing evolutionary now from all phone manufacturers, and I'm talking about Apple and Windows here as well.
Would you agree?
And I think one thing that Samsung is doing with this Edge, where you get kind of this more screen real estate, and you can put, little icons there and have it do things and stock prices and weather updates. They are setting themselves apart from HTC, Sony, and LG with this approach, and they don't have to do it by skinning Android.
Right. Hey, dude.
Yeah, but then I'm sorry. What then? Why you have a wearable watch, which is going to be the all those things for you to begin with, right? Supposedly, right? All that information is going to be on your watch, not on a edge of your phone. So they're kind of competing with different things they want to do.
No. Well, it's just another way of doing it. I mean, you go buy a Corvette, you buy a red one or a black one. Well, some buy red and some buy black. It still works.
What's the flagship phone for Samsung?
Well, some would argue that Samsung really has two phones. They have the Note series and the S series.
And that's their problem. I think the flagship phone for Samsung is unquestionably the Note 4. Gets tremendous reviews. It's very popular. I've not heard any bad press about the Note 4. Everybody loves the Note 4. Maybe they ought to just kind of concentrate on their flagship design and quit trying to, come up with this other thing. Because the Galaxy line, if they're not careful, I think it's about washed up.
Yeah, like I say, I think they are. I think they put a lot into this. I think it's going to be. It's not. I don't think it's going to be as popular as the S3 or the S4, but I think it's going to sell better than the S5. That's my opinion. The problem that I do see though with these edge devices, the way that Sony prices them, very few people are gonna open their wallet because these things are normally priced so astronomical. It's hard to justify them.
And that's what I was going to suggest is that, as Bruce says, if your flagship phone is the Note, that's fine. Do like some of the other manufacturers. Realize that you cannot exist solely in the top tier of the devices. And you can still put out a quality product in the Galaxy line, but stop adding things that just drive the cost up. Is the Edge really necessary? If it is, then maybe you should have a Note 4 instead of the S6. Maybe the S6 needs to be relegated to their middle tier phone instead of trying to say we have, all these flagship phones. Maybe that's the better way to market themselves and trim down this huge number of phones that they have, out in the market.
Okay. Hey guys, let's talk about HTC. There's been some pretty solid leaks on the internet about the M9. If anyone is listening or wondering what the M9 looks like, if you've seen the M8, you've probably seen the M9. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that because that is the M8 was a great looking device with that aluminum back. Very attractive device. There is some sound on it. Sounds like maybe the speaker openings are a little bit smaller. But, this will have this Qualcomm 810 processor in it. No heating problems with this one. And how's this one compare, do you think, guys? Just going rumor for rumor. We know very little about the HTC. But how do you think this compares to the Samsung Galaxy S series? Jeff, talk to me, brother.
Well, again, it's probably the better phone, but they won't have the better marketing, as always. And from what I understand about this HTC phone, it's just minor tweaks. The front-facing camera is, I think, 4 megapixels or something like that, or whatever that is, and they changed the sensor on it so it can do ultra-low light or on it. So they kind of increased they tweaked the cameras a little bit, and they basically have the same specs pretty much. So it's going to be an expensive phone. It comes in gold and silver, and I think gold trim with the silver background, and then gunmetal or something. So. It's going to be the better of the phones. Will they have the better advertising? Yeah,
well, here let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, you talk about marketing, and maybe HTC doesn't have it. Samsung, they do all this crazy stuff from the Broadway shows in New York, but their advertising on this is sex appeal, right? Sex appeal is what their byline is. Well, I want to tell you, the HTC M9 has more sex appeal than the sex appeal of the Samsung Galaxy 6 as I look at it personally.
Yeah, I agree. But how is it going to sell? That's the and I think it's going to be an expensive phone. It's got to be like $700, $800.
Yeah. Listen, Samsung's got to really be sweating it at this Mobile World Congress because it is going to be so easy now for one of these other guys to get the jump on them. I mean, they're already creeping up on them. Samsung can't afford any more leakage like they've had this last year.
Well, I think everyone's nibbling around the corners. LG is definitely starting to make a move against these guys.
The blood's in the water.
You mentioned LG. You expect any announcements from LG at Mobile World Congress? Any of you?
Well, I think there's what we have in the spreadsheet here is they're announcing all these new phones, right? A whole slew
there are a lot of mid-tier phones.
Mid-tier phones,
we're not going to see like the G4.
No.
Okay.
But I think their G3 is, from what I can tell, I don't know what the sales numbers are. I see a lot more commercials on that on TV.
Right.
They're making a big push for it. And
we normally don't see the G series like that coming from them till midsummer. So you know what? And listen, they've already gave us the Flex 2. So you know, I just don't see anything top of the line coming from LG. They just announced their new smartphone, which is their old smartphone in a metal case. I'm sorry, not their smartphone, their smartwatch. Yes, the Urbane. So yeah, I'm not expecting anything there. You know, Sony is there's speculation that Sony might be pulling out of the smartphone business. I don't know about that, but you know, they're not even going to have a press conference this year. So hey, Robert, what about Microsoft? We going to see anything exciting from Microsoft at Mobile World Congress?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to. Microsoft is going to stay under the covers until they're ready to go with 10, Windows 10. And when they do, you'll see a new push for the Microsoft Windows phones. But that's not going to happen till as we get closer to the holidays. It's certainly not going to happen at Mobile World Congress. I don't see anything coming from them.
All right. You know, I actually learned today that Microsoft is going to be releasing a new Surface Pro 4 this year, sometime between now and the end of the year. And I'm just going to go ahead and predict when I read that, I would just about be willing to bet you that when Windows 10 hits in the fall, it will be demoed on a Surface Pro 4 and they'll release both of them at the same time. That's my prediction.
Would not surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
I could see that happen for sure.
Yep.
Definitely.
And I think they're getting some traction on their Surface tablets. I think it's beginning to get better for them. They have the long view for it, you know. Before it was kind of doomed, but now it's kind of, you know, getting some momentum.
Well, you know, my son's got a Surface Pro 2. I know Brad Newman, taking coffee regular. He's got a Surface Pro 2. Listen, I think they're really nice devices, but I think they suck at being laptops. And I think if somebody needs a laptop, they're messing up when they buy a Surface. That's just my opinion, because you can't use them in your lap. You know, right. You can use you know, beautiful hardware. They make great tablets. Yeah, I'm not sure about it. Hey, but we've kind of wandered off into the weeds. Hey guys, we learned in the last 2 days that Google is going to make a Pixel 2. You know, a lot of people were really hoping when they released the original Pixel that that was way back in 2012, wasn't it, Bruce? Am I recalling that right? 2012.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, you know, a lot of people were hoping they would do a Pixel 2. It sounds like they are doing it. We're going to be seeing it probably sometime this year. I'm guessing Google I/O, if I'm going to venture a guess. But I think my question to you guys is, does anybody care at this point? Because, you know, we've got some pretty amazing Chromebooks and Chromeboxes out there now coming from third-party manufacturers. What's the appeal to a Chromebook Pixel 2, Bruce?
Not much. I think the hope, going back to how you introduced this story, the hope was that a Chromebook Pixel 2 would be a high-quality Chromebook, but it would be less in price than what, you know, the original Pixel, because that was the real problem with the first Pixel was it was priced incredibly high.
$1,200.
Yeah. The other thing is that if you watch the video when they announced the release on this thing, what Google is saying about this, they're not looking at this still as any kind of a consumer device like all of the other Chromebooks line. They're still calling this a developer profile, something for developers. And so their goal is not to put out what everybody was hoping maybe they would put out, you know, a high quality, you know, all metal body machine, but get the price down, you know. But yeah, I think I'm not excited at all about the Chromebook Pixel 2 because it's just not meeting the expectations I think that the majority of people were hoping for.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be, you know, the price is still going to be up there, right? And,
oh yeah.
You know, again, you know, it's going to be 100 times more or 10 times more than a Chromebook, a regular Chromebook, right? So, I mean, it has to be a factor of 10 enjoyment, really high. And, I don't really need to have that great resolution on the screen like that. I'm not watching, 4K movies on my Pixel. I don't have a Pixel, but I'm not going to be doing that anyway. So that quality of screen probably is not going to be appropriate for me.
I see this trend with Google. Listen, the Nexus, I think the Nexus 6 has become the same way. I've got a comment here from Bad Wolf Geek, and he says, at Duke C, the devs and Googlers that use them do and Google because they want to. And, yep, that's the list. That's who's going to buy them. And, hey, Bad Wolf Geek, I agree with you 1,000%, man.
I don't think they'll be putting these under the seats at Google I/O either.
Yeah, they didn't do it. They didn't do the high-end phone. Why are there going to be this high-end Pixel this time?
Right.
So.
But that's what they did with the original Chromebook Pixel. That's where they first came out. So.
All right, listen, I guess that's one of those things that if somebody gave it to me, I'd use it proudly, but there's no way. I'm just telling you guys, after buying the little Acer i3, man, I love that Chromebook. I love it, and yeah, there's things I'd like to change about it. I'd like a better screen. I'd love a backlit keyboard, but you know what? I'm not gonna pay $1,000 for those features. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, $1,300. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, as you know, I just got for my business laptop. The company gave me a new Dell XPS 13, and it's a great laptop as far as size. It's got the SSD drive, it boots up fast, and so I've been writing this instead of my Chromebook. I've been introducing my wife to the Chromebook Acer C720 that I have. But you know what? For the last few days, I've been thinking about. You know what? I think when I go to the coffee house, I think I'm just going to leave my. I think I'm going to leave my Dell XPS 13 on the table, and I'm just going to remote into it with my Chromebook from the coffee house like I used to, because I miss using my Chromebook as much. It's a great device.
Well, I'm surprised to hear that, Bruce. I really am surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I mean, I'm just telling you, don't get me wrong. I'm using Windows right now because of the video switching software, but you guys know, and for the audience who might not, probably 80% of my computer time is on my Chromebook. So yeah, I just, like I say, I love it. It works. It's lightweight. It's mobile. Great battery life. It just works for me. When it doesn't, then I'll come in here and climb on my Windows machine. All right, man. Hey, listen, there's been a lot of talk this week in Tech and Coffee over Lenovo and this Superfish crapware. And I really wanted us to get into it tonight. A lot of people are going to say, well, what's this got to do with Android? Well, I'm stretching it, but Lenovo owns Motorola, and Motorola makes some great Motorola phones and watches using the Android system, and I'm going to get to there. First of all, somebody explain to me how Superfish, how this works. How does it go down? Robert, help me out, brother.
Well, basically, the number one problem is something called a self-signed certificate. It's like the Nigerian scammer who says, "You can trust me. I would never steer you wrong, Duke." Well, that self-signed certificate that claims to be all honest can attach itself and step in the middle of secure transactions between you and a third-party website. And given what this software does, it can track that information very easily. The password for the self-signed certificate was cracked within a matter of hours and was released to the internet. And so now, if you connect to a public Wi-Fi hotspot and you have this certificate on your machine can be compromised by a third-party person who can impersonate that certificate and intercept your traffic. So what really Superfish is actually doing is injecting itself in the middle between you and that other third website. That's bad enough. But worse, it can be impersonated with the cracked password by another person who can do malicious things to your machine and track and use your information.
Yeah, and just to dovetail on it, the original intent was to kind of serve up ads, right, on the on other websites, and you're wondering why you're getting these things. So that was the original intent, was just to add revenue. So.
And yeah, but Duke, you said that you weren't sure how this ties in with Android. It very much ties in with Android, because we've reached the point where bloatware has just gotten completely out of hand. It's not a matter of, hey, just look at all this stuff that they throw on my phone, but you get it on the PCs. And of course, it's one thing when they put a lot of trialware software on your machine, but something that can be compromised so easily or manipulate your information so easily to serve up ads to you, that's a problem. And when you look at the steps to remove it, while it's not terrible, I certainly wouldn't want to try and talk my mother through it. Okay? It didn't belong there. It shouldn't have been there. And so the question of how well are manufacturers vetting the things that they're putting on your PC, and that should make a user also question how well are the phone manufacturers vetting the apps that they're allowing to come pre-installed on your phone. We all have them. I have NFL Mobile from Verizon that I cannot get rid of. Cannot.
Yeah, and send super cookies tracking as well. So.
Yeah, and the carriers have been doing that, and it's pretty frustrating. Real quick, Dan Nichols has said Lenovo committed a major breach of trust and confidence with this one. And Dan, I agree with you. I can just tell you this right now. I was really surprised when I watched Leo Laporte on the Twit Network basically tell a caller not to buy Lenovo, that he would no longer recommend Lenovo products.
He said they deserve to go out of business. He said that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really strong.
But here's what frustrates me. As frustrated as I get over this right here, what really kills me is that the regular consumer. I mean, listen, guys, I can't speak for you guys, but normally when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is hit the tech websites to see what the news is. I kind of follow this stuff. I have a natural interest in it. Okay? Most of your people who are buying a yoga computer really don't have a clue as to what this means. I mean, and the only way they will is if CNN or, one of the news networks does a feature on it 10 times a day, So, but yeah, I think Lenovo has really screwed up on this one, but I've got a couple of questions. First of all, I think we agree that short term this might hurt Lenovo. It's probably not going to hurt them long term. I mean, people don't have very good memories. But what about Motorola? Do you think that this could hurt Motorola in the long run, now being tied to Lenovo and this fiasco? And Bruce, I'll start with you on this one.
No, I don't think so. And to your point about hurting them in the short term, this is going to hurt them. There's two things that hurts them. One is what actually happened with Snapfish. The second thing is this ridiculous backpedaling, trying to whitewash the thing, pretending they didn't know what was going on. That's the worst thing for me. I can understand making a mistake, but then to try to excuse it and they're blaming it on a third party. Oh, it wasn't us. It wasn't us. If they don't want to be affected in a negative way, then they just need to own it, whether it's for Lenovo or any other Motorola line as well. Just fess up and move on.
Hey Jeff, why would Lenovo put this kind of software on their computers?
There's probably some revenue sharing thing about the AdWords, most definitely, and they worked out some deal to put it on there, and they got a slice of the pie. But getting back to your question about Motorola, I don't think it affects them, and people probably don't even put those two together unless they were, really know it. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to affect Motorola at all in terms of this fiasco. But Lenovo, this could have some legs for a little bit, it could.
Okay. Hey, Robert. Here a while back, Huawei wanted to start selling products in the U.S. and U.S. government didn't want them to. Told them that that their products, that they were inserting spyware in them and so forth, etc. And turns out, in some of the leaks that came shortly after that, the reason the United States knew that was the NSA was spying on Huawei. Okay. But I guess the point that I'm trying to get to you is, does this hurt Chinese OEMs? Does this Lenovo fiasco with the Superfish malware, does it hurt Chinese manufacturers overall?
Well, this is not the first time that we've seen this kind of nonsense happen. This has kind of happened in the past to some extent and in different forms. But people, as you mentioned, people's memories are very short. And Lenovo has a fairly strong brand of products, okay? And they will, I believe, recover from this. But I think it still will raise that little bit of doubt in the consumer's mind that they will be thinking about the products that come from overseas. They may still buy it, but they will be a little bit more cautious about what's happening and what's going on. I'm not sure that it's going to turn the industry upside down, but I think that manufacturers on the whole are certainly going to step up and do a little bit better job of vetting out the stuff that they're putting into their phones. Because if you're above board, and like Bruce mentioned, if they had just owned it and said, hey, we didn't realize that it had this security risk, we were trying to generate additional revenue or produce a lower cost machine, that would be one thing. But to turn around and try and whitewash it, hide behind it, blame somebody else, and it's obvious they knew what was going on the whole time, it makes it look slimy.
Yep.
And that, if anything, that is what is going to hurt the manufacturers if they don't, turn away from that particular practice. Because now people with a company like Lenovo, they are the up-and-coming PC vendor in the space right now. I know Bruce loves his Dell, but Dell has been on a long downward slide for quite a while. This XPS that he got is just a shining star that's kind of oddball. Lenovo has been tearing it up compared to HP and Toshiba and all the rest. Lenovo is the guy. To have something like this on their record now is going to be a black eye, but they will recover. But people are going to watch, and not just Lenovo, every Chinese manufacturer or imported manufacturer product.
And it's just not the, I remember the Olympics in China, Beijing. There were people that were talking about don't use the carriers over there because they might be sniffing out what your emails and all that stuff. So it just kind of reminds you of that whole culture of, kind of just nibbling around the edges all the time, right? And it just kind of is just a gentle reminder that it's not like here. It's not as strict. So it's kind of still the Wild West out there a little bit.
Right.
Okay. For anybody watching from the event page, I've showcased Lenovo's official statement on the Superfish. If you guys want to check that out. All right, man. Before I move on, let's.
Wait 1 second. Before you go on, there's one thing that we do need to really highlight, and it's very important. There is a Superfish cleaning removal tool now that rather than having to do all the steps manually to get rid of it, you can use the removal tool that supposedly completely obliterates it. Microsoft is even talking about releasing a Windows patch that removes certificates that may have been tampered with, which is an important step and I think should be done. But if you have any inkling that your machine from Lenovo might be affected, just Google Superfish cleaning tool. You'll find it, download it, and run it. Of course, that's assuming it removes all those factors. If you want to be totally safe, wipe the machine out completely, reinstall Windows from a clean OEM disk, and that's how you can be certain to get rid of it, if you're brave enough to try that.
And by the way, in the showcase item that I had up there are links to remove Superfish, and you can check your system to see if it's yours. This should go back to 2013 models. A lot of these will have the Superfish on it. All right, let's move on here real quick. And guys, the reason this article interested me, yes, I have a smartwatch, and Neptune has announced this $800 combo devices. One is a smartwatch and a dumb phone, and Android Police says this just makes no sense. And they go for a lot of things, like, if you say you got a bicycle and, it'll go 35 miles an hour, you might contend that this bicycle is in fact a motorcycle. And, it already exists. So, they kind of put down Neptune and what they're doing here. Robert, do you agree or disagree with this article?
I got to tell you, another $800 watch, really? Forget the dumb phone part of it. I don't get it. There's no true market here yet. There's nothing truly innovative about this. Why are we coming out with such expensive crap to put on our wrist? I don't get it. I don't know.
Okay. Bruce or Jeff, what do you think, man? I mean, do you agree or disagree with this article that this smartwatch and dumb phone combo is a good or a bad idea?
It kind of looks like those, security bracelets that they put on people's, ankles, for, when they can't leave the house, whatever, that's what they are, except this is on their wrist. So, no, it's not something that is going to be hitting any kind of sweet spot for any kind of market at all. So it's, regrettably, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, phones and smartwatches, if we can say, are very personal devices and very personal choices. Now, I can understand an Apple fanboy if Apple were to offer some kind of a combo deal, get our phone and get the watch, you buy them together, we give you a discount. I can see that working. But, in our world, in the Android world, the choice of a smartwatch and the choice of a phone are very unique and particular things. So I don't think this is a good idea.
All right.
But the only thing that I can compare it to that does make sense is the pad phone, where you stick your phone into the tablet, right, and it runs the tablet, and then you take your phone out and it's a regular phone. That would be the only kind of combination device that makes any kind of sense.
Okay, well, see, not in necessarily this iteration of it, but this is where I see the future of mobile. Okay? Your watch is the processor, the memory. It's got the GPS, it's got everything. But it's the other devices with the larger screens that it communicates with, depending on what you're trying to do with it. See, this is where I have thought that mobile is headed. That's why when the watches, when Pebble first did the watch, I kind of got excited because I thought, oh man, this vision that you've had in your head, it's starting, okay? But and when I saw this is it may be a little bit better version of it. Don't get me wrong, it's not something that I want. But this is where I see mobile-headed. And yes, Jeff, I see you pointing at your eyeballs, okay? I see you. I see you, brother.
Yeah, I'm teasing you. But that we're talking Google Glass, right?
Well, sure. I mean, think about it. Let's talk about Google Glass just a second, Jeff. What if the brains of Google Glass was on a very slick little thing that you attached to your wrist, and it communicated with that display within Glass, and instead of talking to your glasses, you were basically controlling it with your watch. This is where I see mobile headed, and that's why when I saw this, I got a little excited. Now, I listen, Android, and I probably wouldn't either, but I think as a concept, this is not a bad idea. Anybody want to challenge me on that?
You're muted there, Robert.
You see, I sat here quietly. I kept my microphone muted so I wouldn't interrupt. But this is a horrible idea. We're going to take the thing that consumes the most power and put it in the smallest device on our person. I don't get that. I do not understand that. Now, Jeff, don't get excited. I might go for the glass thing. I might see where the glass possibility could exist, but I just don't understand why we would tie it to a small. We'd put the processor, the memory, everything in the watch, and then have the panel still have to carry around this panel. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, I think Duke is saying that the processor and everything's on the phone, but the display and all the is on something else. Where the phone is the processor and the display is your whatever it is. The watch,
That's not how I read this.
No, I'm talking about how.
No. This was my version of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Duke's talking about.
Yeah,
right.
and Jeff, on the watch is the processor, the memory, the GPS, everything that you need to communicate. But
Everything
basically,
that uses battery power.
yeah. Oh, listen, I'm not saying we're there. I'm just saying it's a good concept. I'm not saying it's even going to work.
Okay.
Right.
Google. Okay, Google.
I'm just going to shake my head.
Hey, I don't know, if you got on that little glass thing, but, I saw an article about a new version of glass, kicking off again, going out. So, who knows? Never say never.
Yeah, we got Google Glass 2 coming, Jeff. There's hope for you yet, man.
Exactly.
Hey, Josh Swafford says on the issue with Lenovo, makes me love my Chromebook that much more. You got that right, Josh. Absolutely. All right. Hey, guys, really, really quick, who are we? We're a Google Plus hangout. We hang out daily. Been doing it since, I guess, December of 2012. Maybe before that, I don't know. But we love to hang out and talk tech. And, guys, we would love to have you come and hang out with us. Hey, go to Google Plus and look for us, man. Go to techandcoffee.info. Look for the coffee cup. And, hey, man, just come and join us. Bring your favorite beverage, and let's talk technology because it's our favorite thing to do. Hey, we've got a Twitter and a Facebook, Tech and Coffee 1. YouTube, we're at Tech and Coffee. You can catch this podcast and others soon coming on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Player FM. Hey, when you're talking to us on Twitter, use the hash Tech and Coffee. Questions, comments, and snide remarks. AJ at techandcoffee.info. Holler at us, gang. We would love to hear from you. Hey, guys, let's talk apps this evening. Bruce, before you give me your app, I just want to say that Doug Clement says, I just hope Google Glass will help me diagnose my diseases on my marshmallow crop this year. And there's a video out there about the North Carolina marshmallow crop. If anybody hadn't seen it, please Google it. It is hilarious. Hey, Bruce, give it to me, brother. What do you got for me, man?
All right. Ever since I got my Note 2, there were a couple things that I wanted to control. One of them was I wanted an app that controlled all these flashing LED lights. Don't particularly like those going off, especially at night. They're really bright. And I wanted something that would control the audio and the sounds. And so there are a number of different programs to do this, but the one that I have been using for the last 2.5 years is called Audio Manager. And there is an Audio Manager Pro, which I also have. I'll go ahead and do another screen share and show you how this looks on my phone. So let me just jump down here and show that to you. So basically, you can create a number of different profiles. And I've got 3 profiles here you can see. One is mute, one is loud, and one is night. Now, you can create as many profiles as you want. I'll go ahead and open up my mute profile, and by just tapping over here and clicking Edit Profile, and you can see that there's a number of different things that I can control here. You can tap silent at the bottom, and then it's going to make the ringer and the alerts and the system sounds mute. But I've got it on silent. I still had the alerts and the system dragged down, but I've got my ringer, you see, up just a little bit, so I can bring the ringer way up or I can bring it down. So if my wife needs to contact me or somebody needs to contact me in the middle of the night, I want to be able to hear something, and I can also tap vibrate down on the lower right-hand side, and I can have it vibrate as well. So that's a profile. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that one. You see, I've got, when I tapped on the mute profile, it's got a check mark, which means my phone is in that mute profile. Normally it's on loud, but one of the interesting things about this, if I tap on the loud, and you can see the difference in loud. Well, you can tell why I call it loud, because everything's up as high as it'll go. But there's another option here for you, and that is set schedule. And so I have this set to go to the loud profile at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's set to repeat Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. On the mute profile, that's set to turn on at 10 p.m. So at 10 p.m., I want my phone to quiet down. I don't want to be getting interrupted in the middle of the night or by other sounds. And then I have a night profile, and it has some different sessions to it. So I won't spend any more time except to say, if you're looking for an app that you can set these audio profiles. You could have a work profile. You could have a meeting profile. It's just a really, really good app, and it works flawlessly. I've never had any problems with it whatsoever. So my app of the week is Audio Manager, which is free, or Audio Manager Pro, which costs a little bit, takes away the ads. Really nice.
I like that app a lot, Bruce, but I have one question.
Sure.
Will it allow you, like if you select mute and you mute the ringer, can you make it so that an individual phone number can override that and make the ringer ring?
That I don't believe that's a possibility with this right now. I will take a look though while we're continuing the show and see.
Okay, because that's the one thing that I would like that there's. While I'm going to mute my phone, I would like 2 or 3 numbers to be able to make my phone ring no matter what. That would be handy. If I could find a software package for my phone that did that, I'd be a happy camper. But I like that. I'm going to have to check that out.
Okay.
Well, Robert, if you get a smartwatch and spend $300 for one, you'll be able to, when your phone rings, you just like put your hand over your watch and your phone will go silent. Just amazing. Hey, Jeff, what you got for us, brother?
Okay. Well, I'm going to just show this way really quick. A long time ago, I wrote an app. I didn't write an app, but I kind of put together an app called Report Airplane Noise. And then I got a couple people finally started to get their Lollipop upgrades, and it stopped working, so I had to kind of redo it for Lollipop. And this is the app. It's a very simple app that just you send a standard email message based on noise and a template, and it goes out to certain people. But what I thought would be kind of interesting is how did I do that? And that is with something called App Inventor that was on Google, but now is moved over to MIT. So it's at appinventor.mit.edu. And what you basically do, it's object-oriented programming, but it's very easily done, and they have templates for you to kind of do this to kind of pattern match different things. So you build fields, and then you take events, and it's based on using a Java template or Java to actually have these little building blocks like this, and you assign the building blocks and you click them together, and you either do a database entry, database lookup, call an email program. And it's very, if you want to just kind of play around with it, you can come up with a lot of different apps, or an app that you want to do for your own personal, just playing with it. But it controls all the sensors on your phone, the GPS, NFC, video, camera, and playback, and all those stuff you can actually do, and it has logic and all that put together. So it's basically object-oriented programming. It's built on Google's App Inventor that was moved over to MIT, and it's kind of fun to play with, and it's easy. It's not that hard. And like I said, you can look at other templates. They have tutorials on there, and you just build it. And then after you're done building it, let me go back over here. Hold on. You just go ahead, and it'll package it up automatically for you to package it and download it to your computer, make the APK up for you, and then all you have to do is submit it to Google Play, and it goes to the Play Store. So it's a quick and easy way to do simple apps on your phone that you can write yourself and submit to Google. So that's my little app for the week. It's really creating apps for Android using the App Inventor.
Very nice.
Very good, Jeff. Is that app still supported?
It is supported, and they have a different version. They have a beta. Let me take up the camera here off my screen share. They have a version 2 now, which is even better because you don't have to download the Java template to have it on your screen. So yeah, it's supported by MIT, and it's still going forward. And hey, it's just give it a shot. Maybe play around, have a little app for yourself.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Jeff, very much. Robert, what do you got for us, man?
No app for me tonight. Next week I got something very interesting. I won't give you any hints, but I got something that I like to dabble in, and I'll share it next week.
Duke, I was noticing something, and as you look at Jeff's screen, as you look at mine, as you look at yours, and I assume Robert's got his there, just to let all of our listeners know, all of us are talking on Audio Technica microphones. 2 of us are using the 2000 USB, like Jeff's holding up right now, and I believe Duke and Robert are using the 2000, the ATR 2100. But they're USB and XLR. Great microphones if you want to get into podcasting or just step your audio up a little bit.
Very good, very good. Hey, Jeff, got a question for you, man. Dan Nichols is wanting to know, does this app creator, does it have an option to see the code the GUI generates?
No, it doesn't. From what I can let me see. Well, let me see if I can download my project by look at the source. That would be nice if you could. More actions. No, you can just download source. Yes, you can. So let's see what the source. Oh, it's a zip archive. So hold on. Source, App Inventor, AI, Airport Noise. No. I'd have to look at it a little bit more. I can get back to him and tell him next week.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, guys, really, really quick here. My app this week is Player FM. First of all, Android Journal been on Player FM probably close to 8 months now, and we really haven't told anybody that we were on Player. And here recently, I've started posting some tweets to the show. We've got a lot of feedback. And just from the response that we got, I kind of started getting curious, and I wanted to go check out and just see what all's going on here with Player FM and why the interest, because a lot of people have been listening and sharing us with Facebook, and thank you guys. Thank you so very much. But Player FM, what is it? It's a podcasting app, a pretty popular podcasting app. Right now, I've opened it up, and we're kind of in discover mode here. These are some of the more popular podcasts that we can discover. We go over here to subscriptions. Here are some of my subscriptions. Now, I'm really not crazy about this because it puts a lot of these things in order. In other words, it repeats them. You know, like right here is PBS NewsHour 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Really not crazy about how this archive stuff, of course, if I had downloaded, and I rarely download anything, but it would be here in the play later segment. Going back over here now, if I want to look at shows, here I could sign in, shows, downloads. Of course, there's nothing there. I just showed you that. And it's got ways to where you can discover new music, and I really got to say, guys, really enjoying the Player FM app. Like I say, you can download locally. Great app, and all the Android Journal listeners, thank you guys, which leads me really quickly to the grab bag segment of the show. And, hey, listen, for all the faves, likes, shares on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Doug Clement, Josh, hey, Growing Grays, I'm trying to look here. Dan Nichols, you retweeted tonight, thanks. Alfredo, I'm going to butcher your name here. Zula Aga, hey, man, thanks for the tech and coffee follow. And listen, people have been sharing us all week long. Hey guys, this is a passion. We love doing this. This is not my show. This is our show, and it delights us to no end that you guys are actually sharing us, communicating with us. So thank you guys so very much. Hey guys. Before I call this one episode 91, anybody got anything they want to say? Jeff, you mentioned Google Glass 2. Sounds like it's coming. Anything else?
Actually, I do have, this is what the source looks like for the screen. So it creates the JSON file, and then it has the different versions on it. So it's called an SCM file, and you can download it. So I'm sure that's all the information about the fields and stuff. I'm looking to see if there's anything else that would be about how the actions take place. I haven't quite found it yet, but it does have an SCM file and a properties file. So hopefully the rest of the stuff would be there. So, but anyways, Google Glass, I want it, just so I can play the little clips saying that, Robert going, it's dead, 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 dead.
Hey guys, listen, y'all have a great 7. Android Journal will be back next Tuesday night. Later on, gang. Peace out.